The first week of football has started, and I am so excited. You know why I'm so excited? Because that means hockey is right around the corner. Welcome to How to Build a Tent, the podcast on how to make you successful in your business, startups, entrepreneurial ventures, your personal finance and life. Talking about principles that are applicable to every area because we are biblically based show. We're a biblically based show. That's where I was going with that. And biblical principles apply everywhere, and especially in business. And so that's what we kind of focus on here, business, finance, and all of the rest. My name is Matt Williams. Thank you for listening to the show and suffering through me trying to articulate a sentence in the way I intended it in my brain, which sometimes is very difficult, as a lot of you know. We are part of the Fight Laugh Feast network. Over to fightlaughfeast.com, put in HtBT in the memo field, and you will get a mug, an HtBT 15-ounce white with blue letters, beautiful mug that towers over the cross-politic mug. You will also get a pint glass, a Fight Laugh Feast pint glass, which is fantastic, laser imprinted while supplies last, which they have a new batch, I heard, or they're still having a lot left. And then you'll get tons of great content. If you go on to the social media sites and look at, I believe it was on all of Cross Politic Fight Laugh Feast Network, David had it on his social media site. They released an episode of Toby's Wisdom for Kings proverb study, and it is fantastic. If you have not listened to that yet, you should go over there and check it out, and you'll get access to all of it if you go become a member. But most of all, you're helping support us as we proclaim the Lordship of Jesus in every area of life. Thank you for all those who have already subscribed and for those who will. What else? Oh, so I have some stuff working in the mix, some more content from a different angle I've been talking with my friend Adam about. And that's all I can say. But I am really excited about the possibilities that are coming out. I think you're really going to love it. This isn't going to be just your normal show. There's going to be ways for you to be involved. I can't wait to tell you more about it, but you're just going to have to stay tuned and listen to both of our shows. Or, I said too much. I might have said too much. I don't know, but stay tuned for that. One of the cool things about having a successful business, like a restaurant down here, a Christian business, it's called Four Rivers Smokehouse. If you have ever been to Florida or live in Florida, and if you come down to Orlando, check them out. It's a Four Rivers Smokehouse. There's two of them in the Orlando area. So if you're vacationing, wanting to come to Disney World or Universal Studios and all that good stuff, got to come down and check out Four Rivers Smokehouse. Delicious food, Christian company, and they're doing something really great. They opened on Sunday, which they're like Chick-fil-A. They do not open on Sunday. So put that into your itinerary on vacation. If you're planning to come and visit them on Sundays, don't do it. But they opened this Sunday to benefit the people in the Bahamas. And I just love that for two reasons. One is that they are closed normally on Sundays as a restaurant, which Sundays is a weekend where a lot of people go out to eat. And they've done the same track as Chick-fil-A and honored taking the Lord's Day off. But the second reason I love it is it's proof of why it's important for us to be successful and why we should strive for it. Because if this was a failing restaurant, they wouldn't have two. They'd probably have one, and then they'd probably go out of business soon because restaurants are super competitive. But they wouldn't be able to do what they did. And this is what they did. They opened for 4 hours on Sunday, and all of the proceeds go to help those in the Caribbean, which, if you know, they have just got devastated. And they are able to do that, bring in employees, pay employees, be able to absorb the cost of being open, to donate, and to help people that are in desperate need. And what a great picture of Christ is that they are able to do something like that. I absolutely love it. My church is also getting involved here in Florida. We're really close to the Bahamas and the Caribbean. Is it Caribbean or Caribbean? I'm not sure. Well, let me know, please. Oh, I never even told you where you can reach out to me, did I? Oh my goodness. I'm getting rusty in my veteran days of podcasting. You can find me, Matt, at howtobuildatent.com or on the social media sites, How to Build a Tent. But we are working with churches in the Bahamas, in the Caribbean, where we're looking at how we can help long-term rebuild. I love that. I love the church I'm going to. They think long-term. They're not talking with the churches and saying, we're just going to give you some money right now, and then we're going to go on our ways. But we're looking for ways to align with them, to ally with them, to partner with them strategically in the long term. So I might be missing some time to go out there and help. We'll see. I don't know what exactly that's going to look like yet. Obviously, they don't know what it's going to look like yet. And so we're working on that with them. But that's also something great that my church is doing. Another awesome thing that is happening, another example of why it's so great to be successful and why I love the private sector too. I don't know why the private sector gets such a bad rap. Actually, I do know why. It's because the big government totalitarians who want to take control, want to take away your freedom, use socialism as a vehicle. And in order to use that vehicle to move, they have to get rid of the current vehicle, which is our capitalist system. And so they try to demonize it because they can't argue that it doesn't work. It's the most successful economic system that has ever been invented by man because they use biblical principles such as private property rights, personal responsibility, and such. If you haven't read the 2 treaties by John Locke, I highly recommend that. But this is another example of how businesses are helping and the private sector is stepping up and doing good. They're doing good. The cruise ships are selling their ships down there, and they're providing shelter, water, and aid to the Bahamas. That's amazing. Like it's not cheap to put a ship down somewhere to the gas, the crew, and the lost income, but they're selling their ships down there, and they are providing shelter, water, and aid. It's such a beautiful thing. I love when people come together in disaster. It's like such a beautiful picture. All right, next topic. We're in rapid fire mode this Monday, hoping to get you energized, hitting you with boom, 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 multiple topics so you'll be pumped and ready to go and be successful today. The second thing, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this because it doesn't really impact you directly, but it's a really big thing. Fannie and Freddie, I don't know if you know this, are government and government conservativeship, and they are pretty much run by the government. And Donald Trump announced last week that he is going to be taking steps to end that conservatorship, which is important because we don't want the government in any areas that the private sector should be doing, which one of them is the secondary market in the housing and real estate, I should say, but the housing market specifically. They buy on the secondary market loans that if you take a loan out with your bank for your house, and you usually see like a notice in 6 months at most, hey, we sold your loan. A lot of times they will sell it to those kinds of companies. They will bundle them, and then they create a mortgage-backed security. Another chart that I saw that I thought was just absolutely amazing, and credit to Trump. And I think this is the perfect picture of why the election for 2020 is Trump's to lose. And it's a chart that says U.S. wages, and it shows the average wage increase. And it is about 2.5%. And it goes back to August of 2014, which was the Obama era. And it was below the 2.5. It's about 2%. And then in 2016, it starts hitting that line, 2.5%. And then it starts bubbling above. But then in December of 2018, January 2019, it is now 3.2%. It is almost a whole point higher in wage growth, above the average. And that impacts all of us. Fannie and Freddie leaving government consensorship, that's going to create some more competition in the market and create more value. And we might not be able to point a finger on how that directly relates to us, but wage growth does. That helps every single one of us. It helps the economy. It helps us to be able to invest more, to save, to pay off those debts. That is a real strong benefit. And it's just night and day difference of a perspective of what Obama was doing and what Trump was doing. Obama should have had amazing economic numbers. If he was doing things that were economical and not political, he would have seen these numbers because we were in such a bad recession. It's almost like inevitable. It's like when you push a ball full of air down in the water, it wants to fight back up. And if you just let it go, it's going to bounce back up pretty quickly. And that's what the economy does after a recession typically. But it was so slow to recover. And Obama just kept pushing it down with his policies. And Trump has basically let that bubble go up. And he's seen what Obama should have seen. So wage growth is growing up. And the last thing I just wanted to hit, I thought this was really interesting. John Williams from the New York Fed, also my father's name. My father is a construction worker, but also he's at the Fed, and he's also a conductor and composer for Star Wars. My dad apparently is a man of many talents. But John Williams from the Fed said that low inflation is a problem of this era. And I don't know if it really is. I'm just going to be honest. I know there's this Phillips curve that relates inflation to unemployment. But if you look at inflation and you compare it to what unemployment's done in the last 20 or 30 years, basically since the 80s, since we've become global and people have been buying our debt and just people have been using our dollar and all of that stuff, I don't think they're closely correlated anymore. I don't think inflation and unemployment are tied like maybe they once were, which means that the Fed really needs to start thinking differently if that is true. We need to stop thinking about our own country as an isolated entity that doesn't get impacted by outside forces, because that is going to determine what the Fed does. If they view us as somebody that's by themselves, that has no outside drivers changing things, or if the outside economy impacts things like inflation and unemployment. And maybe things that we thought were related are not as true anymore. The more global we become, the more technology brings us together. Maybe we are more in this together. And so things like the Phillips curve just doesn't make sense anymore. Just a thought. That's one of the things I do love about economics. I'm a pretty black and white person, I'm not going to lie. But there's some things at higher levels there's so many factors that we just don't know. And so it's interesting watching and seeing things and trying to prove and disprove theories. It's really fun. Well, that was our action-packed Monday. Hope you guys have a great week. Go out, be successful so you can bless others in need, so you can be a light in this world, so you can be an authority when you proclaim the Lordship of Jesus in every area of life. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. God bless.